Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick, and in today's video we're going to take a look at XRP and specifically the price action over the last 24 hours. We have seen over 18% in gains in the last 24 hours and over 33% in the last 7 days. We're going to dive into the technical analysis here for XRP to see exactly what is likely to happen next. As we get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, make sure you hit that like button. I really do appreciate it. If you are new to the channel, then do consider subscribing, tapping the bell and selecting all notifications. In doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything we do here. It is free and you'll stay well informed. Right, with all that said, done and out of the way, let's jump on down to the desktop and start taking a look at what is going on here with XRP. Okay guys, let me just move this microphone for a second here. So this here is XRP to the USDT. This is the weekly chart, and Binance is our data source here. Now, for XRP, we have, of course, seen a significant bump in the price in the last 7 days, 33%. And today alone has been 18%. Again, something similar has happened with Cardano, and XRP is kind of following the same path. We're going to dive into some of the technicals to see exactly what is going on here. Now, for this weekly chart, there's a couple of things I really wanted to kind of point out to you guys to make sure everyone is aware of what I'm seeing here from a technical point of view. The first thing we have to acknowledge is obviously the big yellow line just above where the most recent candle is. And this up here is basically a milestone for XRP. It needs to pass this $1.07 resistance line. This area is a major resistance, so this is one that we want to be looking for to try to really push through. Once we're past this, we'll obviously have the 618, the 702, and the 786 area, the Fibonacci, that we'll also be tackling and basically confirming that we're moving much higher for XRP. Now, obviously, getting into this yellow box area here is going to be a bit of a battle, but getting past the $1.07 is going to be absolutely key. Now, the next target that we have is actually only a few cents away. This is $1. Once we're above $1, we want to kind of go back and retest that area to make sure it's a strong support for us. And as we get into the smaller time frames, we'll have a look to see if there's any kind of resistance and support lines that are coming up really urgently, and obviously making sure everyone is prepared for what is likely to happen next. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about here on this weekly chart is that Stochastic Relative Strength Index. Now, the fast line is actually out of the danger zone, right? It's no longer oversold. So it's actually in a pretty comfortable position, and it's starting to have a good correction and a good amount of momentum to the upside, which is nice to see. But the slow line is lagging behind, obviously, at 16.4, so it's still oversold, technically speaking. So the progression and recovery is on the map now. We can start to see this, right? And again, it's important that we acknowledge all these low points for XRP and where we were previously. And we actually reached all the way down here to 0.7 on this Stochastic Relative Strength Index. So right now, moving up nicely, and we're seeing good recovery here on the weekly chart. Now, over here on the right-hand side, this is the Fibonacci Retracement tool. This gives us the price expectations on where we are expecting things to go. Now, the other thing that we can do is obviously put a Fibonacci Retracement tool over on this side as well. Okay, so we'll take it from the high down to the low of the correction wave, and we can see this kind of tops out here at about $6.73. But it's important that we also acknowledge that the all-time high of $3.85, all the way down towards our area down here, of the low, which was actually March 2020 when we had the crash, right? This actually took XRP to 10 cents. And during this entire move, basically then obviously allows us to see some interesting Fibonacci retracement zones and extensions. And from here, we actually do top out at about $16, another $10 on top of what this most recent Fibonacci over here is actually indicating to us. So it's an interesting point. I do actually align more towards what is going on over here on the left than I do over here on the right-hand side. So it really depends on how you like to do your technicals. If you're looking at true all-time highs, which is to be $3.84, all the way down to the low, which was obviously March 2020, or whether you'd like to be more in the here and the now on the smaller time frames, right? Because they're predicting about $6. But the bigger picture, when you zoom out, it's about 16. Now, for me personally, I like the idea of $13.50. It's a nice, comfortable area. It's right up there at the top, but it's not the full extension either. And we'll get into some exit strategy stuff with the member section on the channel, and we'll cover XRP and what our thoughts are on all of that as well. So do watch out for that. But I just wanted to kind of give you a bit of an idea as to where my mind is at, where we are heading as we kind of close off Q3, go into Q4, and potentially start 2020 really strongly here for XRP. Now, obviously, when we go into a bear market, there will obviously be more opportunities to dollar cost average better positions and all of that kind of good stuff. And we'll get into price predictions for 2025 for XRP in the near future. So do watch out for that. Now, the next target, this is actually the first Fibonacci zone, right? So if I actually redraw this Fibonacci retracement tool on here, and get this aligned to the point here, we can see that the first price target is the 1.618, okay? And this comes in at $2.87. So that's where we're looking at here for the next kind of major breakthrough when we actually go to start to have some, decent price discovery again for XRP. But we do need to get past that yellow box, the 618, the 702, the 786, etc. So we're really mindful over that. Okay, right, now we obviously know what's going on here with the weekly. We obviously understand where our expectations are, how high we are likely to go as we kind of finish the bull run in this last little leg. Let's get into the here and now. Let's take a look at the daily, because there's some interesting things that have been occurring here on the daily chart. So obviously the blow at the top here, obviously the Bitcoin correction, and as we come to the bottom here, we actually had a double tap down in this area, right? So what we can do is we can just draw this on 1 second. Let me just do that. Obviously have one there, and again we have another one just over here, right? So we have these double tap scenarios. Now this basically has allowed us to have this breakout event, and again we found that resistance up at 75.5 cent. I was talking about this for in the last XRP update, how 75.5% was going to be that resistance line. We're going to find some resistance here. We're going to trade, and once we got past it, we wanted to back test and basically confirm it as support. And that's exactly what you've seen here. Let me just grab my brush. So basically we had this push to the upside. We found the resistance. We came down a little bit. We broke through and we back tested on this area. Now let me just make that a little bit bigger so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Let me just do this, right? So here we can obviously see we had the breakthrough event. We found the resistance just here. We came back down. We went up, we broke through it, and then we came back down and retested this area here, specifically that wick right there, as a support line. So we now know that 75.5 was a support line, and then we had the continued growth to the upside, right? So as we continue this swing, we obviously now have that $1.07, position in our crosshairs, right? But obviously on that journey, that's the next kind of milestone. So what we look for here is to come up to this area, test it, and then basically cool off a little bit, and then go up and then confirm it as a new support. Okay, and this is what you've seen happen with Cardano when it went across the, I think it was $1.83. So right now you're looking to basically come up, but first of all, I don't think we have enough momentum to really take us past this at this point. So being the fact that we are overbought at this point for XRP, my expectations are to come up a little bit, find it as a resistance, trade sideways, have a small kind of correction, break through it, and then come back down and retest it, okay? So again, pretty standard stuff that you'd expect to happen from a technical point of view. Now, on this daily chart, it's obviously important that we actually do confirm $1.07 as a strong support, because after that, we are talking about this yellow box area. And this entry point basically comes in at $1.28, and we want to see a closed candle above this yellow box, which comes in at $1.50. So any closed candle above here, preferably a weekly, but a daily will also have a pretty good impact, will basically be a real good strong bull signal to take this to the next level. And every step that we take gets us closer and closer to the 618, the 702, and the 786, which will be basically what takes us then to new price discovery for 2021. And again, we are looking at moving up to that price target, right? And if I just zoom out and just bring this back up again, that first price target comes in here at $2.87. Okay, that is the price target, just underneath the all-time high of $3.84. But in order to do that, we obviously have got a lot of resistance we're going to get through, lots of price targets to kind of take out, and things do not generally move in straight lines. So what we've seen so far is a pretty decent run, but it's unsustainable. So we do need to have a period of sideways trading. I do say this quite regularly because I am expecting it when Bitcoin allows it to happen. And I think you see Bitcoin slowing down a bit. This is the kind of thing that you need to see happen with many of these alts, and basically slow down, sideways trade for a bit, allow for some profits to be taken from the traders, and then you'll be able to continue the growth to the upside. It won't be a signal to say that we're going into a bear market or anything like that. It's just a very natural response, and you need to allow these charts to cool off a little bit and allow those technicals to bring back down to more safer levels. Being overbought and being in extreme greed and all of these things basically is indicating to many traders out there that it's time to take some profits off the table. So it's something that we should be expecting and preparing for mentally. And on that note, we don't want to actually just jump over to the 𝗲𝗓 dashboard for XRP. It's actually a B2 rating overall. And in terms of that fear and greed index, it is right up there with extreme greed. And when the markets are greedy, this is when profits are usually taken. So again, be mindful of any potential sideways trades or pullbacks and in the near future, because ultimately this is going to be when those traders are taking profits, and that's what you're seeing here from an extreme greed point of view. And again, the AMI-HAD ratio, that liquidity is also improved at a B2 rating. Moving averages are doing good at B2, C2 for peak end value demand, and the Sharpe ratio is probably the biggest issue, right? The Sharpe ratio is actually still below the 50-day average, but we are getting a closer and closer to crossing that line and starting to see a positive risk to reward ratio for XRP. Obviously, many people in the space will know I am really big on XRP. In fact, XRP is my biggest bag, even today. And you know how VeChain is to Chris's portfolio, is his biggest bag. XRP is mine. I've been building up a very strong position. And even during the lawsuit, when it was first launched, it was just another opportunity to buy in at discounted rates. And so even during these pullbacks, you know, there's opportunities to basically build a better position. Although we are getting, it's getting harder and harder to have a good dollar cost average overall. There are still opportunities because, you know, my expectations, as I alluded to at the beginning of the video, was that XRP was going to be going up towards those $13.50, $16 range. And in doing that, you're still looking at a potential 10 to, you know, or 13 to 16x on the current position, right? So still significant gains to be made, but they are obviously diminished versus where they were at the end of 2020 when you were able to pick up, you know, XRP for 17 cents. And those were opportunities, you know, if you were looking at them that way. And the same thing could be said for the most recent correction within the wave 4 Elliott theory, impulse waves to the upside. That fourth wave was another opportunity to accumulate before you get that last leg to the upside during this bull run. And again, if you're sticking with us for the bear market, there's going to be a lot of opportunities to build very significant positions ahead of 2025. So although, you know, we are seeing this really good run right now on this daily chart, we're seeing good growth. We're finding potential resistance up here at the moment around that dollar level, which is going to be quite a natural thing. And ultimately from here, what we're looking for is to understand that when we do have a pullback, and which I think is going to happen at some point soon, sideways trading, it'll probably be a very small one. It won't be too significant. We might have just a few days, a few weeks, maybe of just sideways trading, nothing too much happening. And then that's an opportunity to basically just dollar cost average if you can, better positions, at least in my opinion. And then, you know, you'll be ready to take that next step once the technicals have cooled off a little bit. Now, let's actually jump down to one level lower. Let's go into our hourly view. And on here, we can obviously see this progress that we've made, right? We can obviously see the good level of progress. We can find that we took out the 88.6 cent area. We've pretty much powered straight through 93.1. Now, this is obviously an interesting zone because, you know, we are coming across overbought, same as we are with the daily. We are looking to pull back. This is actually now looking like this is an interesting area for us to do this. If I actually bring up the volumes here, you can see the volumes are diminishing over time. We're running out of momentum here. So they're liking to get a correction on our stochastic relative strength index. And as such, where we're likely to fall back to, well, it's going to be this area just here, which would be 93.1. So again, we'd lose a little bit on that momentum during the correction, but that would basically allow us to correct our stochastic all the way back down to an oversold area and allow us to really get our sights put onto that $1.07. So again, everything is lining up quite nicely for XRP. And what I often say on the channel, you know, me and Chris are very much aligned to this. Win, lose, draw, settle doesn't really matter when it comes to the SEC and Ripple. XRP, no matter the outcome, is going to surge significantly once that court case has kind of been put to bed. And we obviously have got our sights firmly set on these areas of $13.50 with the potential of actually going up and hitting that $16 range. Now, all of that being said, there are opportunities and are scenarios that could play out for XRP to actually go up and significantly hit different price points, much higher price points based on the use cases and what they're trying to actually deliver. If a settlement is occurred or does occur, and as a part of that settlement, you get clarity for XRP, I think we're going to be in a very different world. I think $16 would be a very small price target, and I think we should actually be pushing that needle significantly higher. But right now, we do not know what is likely to happen. If a settlement does happen, does clarity come with it? Ultimately, it's clarity that is holding XRP back. With clarity, it will allow those institutions, those banking giants, to actually use this particular product for what it is designed to do. And again, we've watched and seen many roadmaps across many different banks, across many different continents. Then all of them are aligned to 2025 by launching a CBDC of some kind, and also seeing mass adoption into this space. Now, in that particular sector is all around the banking, and in the banking has deep connections to Ripple. Ripple, obviously, with their products and their ODLs and all that kind of stuff, RippleNet. We are talking about potentially having some kind of bridge asset. XRP is the one that gets spoken about all the time. If, of course, Ripple is able to do everything that it is supposed to do, or trying to achieve with their particular project, and they get clarity, I think XRP would definitely be at a totally different price point. Now, speculation aside, it's not inside this technical data, so I cannot really give you my thoughts and insights on that. But that being said, we've got some good price targets if clarity isn't given to XRP. Guys, that is all I have really for this particular video. For XRP. So if you have found it useful and informative, then do go ahead and hit that like button. I really do appreciate it. If you are new to the channel, make sure you do go ahead and subscribe, hit the bell, tap on all notifications, and you will not miss another XRP update. With this said, done, and out of the way, I hope you have a fantastic day, guys, and I'll catch you all in the next one.